So, with the fifth day now having finished and Group A having reached its conclusion, we're going over the games and drafts once again, looking into the first game, TL vs G2, rematch for G2 after the devastating loss on the last day. So we see Camille, Lucian, TF, Ornn, Grace and Lilia being banned. Not really target bans on both sides, more focusing on power and scaling picks. Set first pick, it's very flexible, but also pretty linear champ. He needs some setup from his team. Voli Ashe both do quite decent into the set in either support or top lane position. Kalista Syndra then elected on the other side, needing an AD carry jungler and showing now a greater focus on the early and mid game. Caps then picks Echo into the Syndra, a well-known counter pick, and then the second ban phase happens. Nidalee Irelia bans to be on the safer side for the top lane and jungle respectively. Voli is not really locked yet, so they have to watch out for these positions. Lee Sin Kindred, AD carry junglers banned, decreasing the pool of viable targets there. Mickey gets his Tom, some global pressure with Ashe, really solid and safe bot lane. TL goes for Lulu and Hecarim, a good egg combination, especially against the immobile Ashe. Also with Lulu, Hecarim and Kalista can scale better because of the added safety and damage. Lastly, G2 picks Sylas, who has some really good targets to steal their ults from. Going into the game, early game went slightly in G2's favor. Core and Tactical had some good moments, but jungle gap was pretty real. Yank was able to apply decent pressure in top and bot, resulting in CS leads in both lanes and then ganking multiple times. With this lead, G2 takes it, and then in the mid game massacring TL really, out-rotating them with the pressure they have through pushing, killing them and diving the bot lane, establishing a 5.5k gold lead in just 15 minutes. CodJJ trying his best in many fights, getting good engages and stuns, but the damage just isn't there to finish the picks he's able to get. G2 is showing why they have the fastest series win against TL, but still not rushing the game, just having it in complete control, just slipping up in some moments, but with the huge lead they had, there wasn't anything TL could ever hope to do. Yeah, so G2 finishes their first game with a win. Marchi against Suning is the following game. Nidalee, Camille, Lilia, some bans against SOFM and Bin. Ornn, Renekton, TF, bans focused against PK, so that he can't get a rather safe top laner. Syndra picked, rather immobile first pick, can be punished quite heavily. So it's not really blind pickle, but still has some early pressure in nearly every matchup. An AD jungler, though, has to be elected for her. Galio Graves, on the other side, good team fight, skirmish comp, also mixed damage and some CC. So really works well. Also Galio into Syndra, very safe matchup for him. Voli and Ashe. Voli is probably jungle, and Ashe is also a rather safe pick, but now they do lack some consistent damage. Finally, Bard for Sword Art, a great pick. His ults are really great, and in general, Bard ults against mobile champions really great. Ezreal Wukong then are banned against Suning. The Wukong could be quite a nuisance for the carries. Karma Tamkench, yeah, some supports to get a good bot lane matchup for them. Suning then gets Jin, good pick against what Machi has already elected, and the range is good for the bot lane matchup. Jace and Nautilus on the other side, completing the draft for them. More early and mid-game aggression, and also getting the engage they needed. Lastly, an Irelia top lane against Jace, not pressuring him early normally, but after one item, top will be in a lot of hurt for PK. Machi looking for early skirmishes, some in mid, the mid game, I mean, but want to avoid larger team fights and especially the late game. Suning, on the other hand, has more tools within their champs, able to do similar things, but in corresponds with Machi's win conditions. Suning is looking for the late game states with Irelia either in team fights, but much rather in a split push scenario. In the game, though, it turns out a bit different. Bin wants to eat early, I think. He completely dominates top lane even from the earliest levels, solo killing and getting a 30 CS lead. And then cross mapping because he does this solo. Machi being a bit more aggressive, probably too over aggressive in many cases, not getting much. But instead being punished and falling further behind. As I said, with the early game comp, they probably felt the need to do something to alleviate the top lane pressure, but it wasn't working out. They were getting some picks, but not gaining the lead they need. Overall, though, they were always going for them, the picks, just as their team comp dictates them to do. Suning, though, being better, and also then with the comp excelling more with scaling and total gold value. The gold lead on top of that was just too much, and just the individual powers of Suning's players was way too much to handle for Machi. So they were, well, on a team and on an individual level destroyed, ending the second game rather quickly. So now Machi has another shot. I think at this point they're already disqualified and are out, but they can play for, well, their honor and glory against G2 here. Wooly, Syndra, and Set, some flexible champs being banned, and Syndra against Mission. Camille, TF, and Nidalee, not really target bans, but G2 likes to play these picks as much as everyone else at the moment. Lucian first. He needs some AP now in his team, but he's very strong. Ornn Graves, some top tier picks, but they need more AP in the mid lane. Lilia Shen, more flexible picks for G2, with a more skirmish and scaling focus now indicated. Orianna for Mission works really well with the rest of their wombo combo. And team fighting. Entering the second ban phase, Ash Leona for G2, taking some of the initiation from the enemy's bot lane. Kate and Twitchman forcing perks off the standard hyper carries. Then, starting the pick ban, the pick phase, Ezreal is stolen from perks by Bruce. Taking some of the safer champions away. Jhin still open though, and with the Rakan, the bot lane is then elected. Rakan also working greatly with Shen, going in and receiving the Shen ult, dropping Shen into the enemy team, while Rakan is then safely getting out with the extra HP from the shield. For Machi, Koala is then picking Alistair, getting even more engage and frontline for their team, and another great ball carrier for Oriana. G2, yeah, looking for some mid-game skirmishes, have some teamfight ability, but not even close to Marchi's late and mid-game, and especially their teamfighting. G2 though, getting early leads and funneling nearly all kills on caps. I think he was 6-0 at some point, gaining CS leads in the other leads, in other lanes, through the pressure perks, was able to apply through some roaming and hovering in Fog of War. Marchi playing more reserved and able to pick off Wander and Mickey X from time to time, locking the gold lead at around 5k, which is still okay for that scaling team comp. Especially with the 3 Drakes they were able to get. It really looked like they were able to weather the storm and hang on. But yeah, then they themselves say psych and yeah, just engage over nothing in the river. Not able to get the kill they were engaging on, resulting in heavy casualties and the Baron for G2, which further broke the snowball and yeah, allowed them to finish the game, confirming G2 now in the knockout stage. So either in first or second, this is still to be determined. Suning versus TL. Yeah, Suning versus TL. So Ornn, Shen, Vance versus Impact, Kalista for tactical, Renekton Camille versus Bin, and yeah, Nidalee is just really strong. So standard bans for this matchup, nothing too out of the ordinary. I think I like them quite much. Graves' first pick though is a bit heavy priority on the pick. Greatly for them though, many AP mids are open, like Syndra, Ori, and TF. The other side TL gets for Set Lilia, flexible picks, and are good or quite decent into Graves, but not picking anything away from Graves. So he gets, or like Suning gets their wish mid duo. In this case, it's TF and also a Jace for Suning. So a bit much AD for them. And yeah, immobile carries. No consistent DPS from the AP department. Guess, yeah, now it's Malphite time for Impact. I assume actually that they baited the TF pick. Jensen also likes TF very much. And TF Graves is usually a very, very strong duo. The gold card enabling Graves to do his damage, as Graves is a jungler who doesn't really bring CC with him. Also, Angel, as nearly every mid laner, is quite good at TF. So I think they baited TF because TF is not a mid laner who is quite good against Malphite. On the contrary, he's not really good at him against him. Syndra Oriana bans then, and Ezreal Caitlyn, so no carry for One Feng, and no good AP mid for Jensen. Also no Oriana Malphite potential. Jhin then for tactical, follow up or pick for his team, so quite a good champion. Senatam Kench is safe bot lane with more globals, but also not the champions that can deal with a Malphite. Last pick Bard for core. TL now playing for their world's hopes. Suning with a win can get first if they win the last game of the day against G2. And yeah, TL has to win, otherwise they're completely out of it. Some early game shenanigans happen though in Suning's jungle, resulting in nearly all summoners blown and a 3-1 scoreline for TL. But with some CS leads through individual playing, in the 5th minute, even that gold lead is now even. But then again, TL is able to evening out the growing CS leads by winning top fight, gaining 3 kills again, and able to secure Herald and some plates later. Suning though trades more or less the top lane pressure for for 2 drakes. Also a mountain soul is spawning, so yeah, a lot of drakes will be able to give some resistances for either squads. TL overall though riding a high wave in the game, able to get a couple of small objectives, slowing down the needed snowball from Suning. Yeah, and with the really great RNG for TL, the mountain drakes are like the best drakes that could ever spawn. And with them having no prior drakes, yes, it makes Soul Drake very late, but more importantly, you can get more mountain drakes, right? If you haven't taken the first 2 drakes, you can get 4 mountain drakes actually, resulting in tons of bonus resistances. And yeah, this is really GG against the 3 lethality champs on the other side. And yeah, with no consistent AP threat, no crit tank shredding, TL then like just stalling the game, chilling out, getting more items and drakes. There was actually no way for Suning to win. It's nearly impossible. Malphite completely unkillable, and even the base armor and magic resistance on the squishier champions with so many mountain drakes is just really strong. So for Suning, after they were stopped in the mid game by TL's more reserved and counter play, yeah, it was GG for them, especially I would say after the second drink. So this is a huge RNG benefit for TL, but this is also just the second after effect. The draft gap was really interesting, and also the level 1 was really working out in TL's favor. So even though they're the weaker team, right, their players are not as great as the ones in Suning, with smart plays, smart drafts, and some luck as well, they were able to beat Suning. Now TL has to beat Marchi, and Suning has to lose to G2 for a tiebreaker between the two for 12 to make it out of groups. Suning is now able to get a tie with G2 after a win and then playing for first. So we get one tiebreaker for 100%. Moving to TL vs Marchi. Marchi is now out of Worlds, but for their honor and pride, they can take TL down with them. Boli, Camille, some picks, PK, Plate, and Lucian on blue side. Really strange to see that again. Set after last game an important flex, Twitch for tactical, a pick they are banning most enemies. Graves pinching the AD jungler pool. Syndra first pick for mission, but punishable. It's his iconic pick. Only Sin, rather strange, one is early, one is late, but he could be an AD bridge for Marchi. Impact gets Shen, Broxah gets Lilia again, comfortable and strong picks at the moment. Kassadin is Marchi's answer, not only good against Syndra, but also a comfortable pick for mission. Tam Ezreal bans to take some safety away from Marchi's bot lane, Kalista Kate to get a safer bot matchup regardless. We see Ashe then picked up to underline this more to play around topside. Pantheon Senna, even though Senna scales with Pantheon, this changes quite a bit. She's then able to stay in lane more or less solo when Pantheon roams and pressures. Last pick Bart against the immobile carries, really good with his ultimates. TL then in the game gets another early lead with CallJJ's great roaming resulting in 2k lead in just 4 minutes. Pantheon is just a monster in these few early levels where he can like 1v1 every champion just from the support position. Lee Sin, overall not a good pick at the moment. And yeah, in this game he was just a minion with dashes. Overall a strange pick, but TL really punished him hard, making him more, useless than he already is in general. With more aggression and using Pantheon Shen ultimates to punish the Kassadin, in just 10 minutes TL is able to achieve a nice 3.5 KOE gold lead. They need more, and they need to continue with this tempo against the scaling Fumachi, but that's just a long way ahead. So Jensen 5 plates, 5-0. Yeah, he was truly online, able to punish the Kassadin in any stage. Rocks are owning the jungle of the whole rift, just out farming and out pressuring the Lee Sin. 15 minutes then on the clock, 8.5k gold lead. Now firmly in control. It's a complete destruction, pushing the lanes, getting the jungle camps, killing and diving them when they are not with more than 1 or 2 members under the turret. Yeah, one of the most dominating games. Yeah, so ending it, and TL becomes G2's greatest fan, hoping for their win against Suning. So Suning and TL will play a tiebreaker. Machi's journey now is over. Showed great stuff from time to time, but especially now in the second week, they were figured out. Probably they weren't able to get what they had hoped for. Just one window, better than nothing, I guess. But yeah, individually, players like Mission and their jungler Gemini had some really good performances, and showed and proved that the new LMS region, the PCS, is still a place with talented players. But yeah, it's not enough to crack the 4th position from NA or from Vietnam, right? Like there's much discussion about the top 3 regions, NA then in 4th, and then the question is PCS or Vietnam in 5th. And then often many people are talking about, is NA even the 4th best region anymore? And yeah, with TL being 1-1 with Machi, you can certainly say these arguments are understandable, but overall TL able to get games off the better teams, and Machi not able to keep up with that, resulting in their removal from Worlds now. So the final game now, Suning versus G2. It decides what tiebreaker will follow. Suning win, we see another matchup of these two teams for first, and if G2 wins, Suning versus TL play for second seed. Orange and Lucian on blue side, banning weak side top laners. Definitely Galio from A Angel. Syndra first pick, again very strange, like not really liking this blind Syndra mid. Graves taking it away from SOFM and Echo against Syndra, completely reasonable picks from G2. Camille coming through for Bin, and Ezreal for Onefang taking it away from Perks as well. Renekton into Camille for Wonder, indicating a more early and mid-game approach, because yeah, in the later stages Camille will 100% outscale the Renekton. As such, this pick wouldn't make any sense if you play for this game state. Ashe Thresh banned against G2, a safe bot lane taken away. Just one. There are many safe bot lanes at the moment, honestly. Ashe Rakan against SOFM and Sword Art. Lee Rakan. Yeah, Senna picked for Perks, some scaling and global pressure with her ult, but also another safe pick for G2, so they can go for their top place more reliably. Bar Jarvan, a bit of an LPL specialty, but still a low tier jungler. But very good with Ezreal. Yeah, Jarvan though, he can punish champions like the Senna, and his ult can be quite interesting in teamfights. And yeah, but not really recommending this pick. Last pick Kalista, so Senna is now support, and G2 has now 3 aggressive lanes, decreasing their scaling though by quite a bit. And yeah, if they fall behind, yikes, no real scaling, no frontline, no engage. So yeah, G2 has to get ahead early and then ride the snowball. Suning, more tools in their comp overall, but their entire early game is mostly dependent on Jarvan, and if they can outplay, like Ezreal bot can pressure in bot, but it's not very likely. Similar story in mid lane. Angel will have to push, but no kill threat, and yeah, if Echo gets level 6, this matchup turns. Yeah, let's just talk a bit about the greatest disrespect this Worlds. Even greater than what Live did on Rakan. And that's what Bin is doing. With Camille going Ignite, Top, and Omnistone against Wonder, completely, spitting in his face, saying you're not even like 2 divisions under me. Maybe though this is OP and we don't know. But yeah, it looks like heavy disrespect. G2 in the game getting some good rotations and creative moves, securing some early objectives, trading here and there. But often they're overextending for just something extra, just one more wave, one more plate. Let's try one more time. And this is getting Suning multiple kills, sponsoring Bin's Camille with an early Trinity. And then again, remember G2's comp really limited in their abilities, especially if they fall behind. And yeah, they need to be ahead. So being behind by, let's say, 3k is much worse than just being behind 3k. On the other hand, Bin, like on Camille, completely popping off, destroying in 1v2 scenarios, sort out ults, completely on point, catching G2 members in transition, or protecting his teammates. And with this lead, even at the end, it's not much total gold lead, but their champions are just way better with the gold they have. And G2, as I said, they needed the gold more. Suning then completely smurfing over G2, completely decimating them in the following fights. And yeah, it was a complete wash on the back of Bin's Camille. So yeah, the Omnistone seemed to have functioned quite nicely here. So now, with this result, we get to the final tiebreaker. TL, now sadly for them, they're out, accompanying Marchi on their departure from Worlds. Suning and G2 now play for first. Very important, I have to say, because like you don't want to be second, so you can avoid teams like TOS or Down1, right? You don't want to be matched against them right away. So yeah, first place is actually very important. Also with Group C being a bit of a mess, maybe as the first seed you can get a Fnatic or a weak LGD. Yeah, that could be quite nice. Going over the bans, Orange and Lucian, same bans for Suning, Nidalee TF, and then obviously the Camille on G2 side. Graves then first pick for SFM, indicating an AP mid incoming shortly after. Syndra, Lilia, the Syndra Steel, obviously a great combination with Graves, probably the best, up there with TF. And yeah, Lilia does great into Graves, farming very effectively and also scaling. Ashe, GP then, both good against the immobile champions, but now they have really a lot of AD. Yes, some scaling, but they have to watch out their damage share. Set pick for support, also flexible for some shenanigans, which is what G2 is known for. Kalista Ezreal bans against perks, and also protecting Ashe more. Echo Bard to protect Syndra, and to take Bard away from Sword Art after the last game's performance. Sion for Wonder, confirming set support, a good tank against the AD team, also offering some limited engage. Akali Leona, finally some Akali, a high priority pick in skirmishes and in solo queue, but yeah, not on stage. She is the only AP source in their team, and yeah, Leona similarly the only frontline and real first tier engage. Lastly, again a Senna for G2, but now it's not Senna support, it's Senna for perks. Yeah, as I said before, Suning lacking in frontline, but they have some, they're just lacking. Have some pick potential with the Ashe. Overall quite good. They have a ton of AD, which is a bit concerning, but they can do everything else with their comp. G2 has some good teamfight comp, but a little damage unless Senna is getting to like ridiculous numbers of stacks. Syndra is heavy damage, but she's burst. Also good, but not what they needed, not consistent damage. A similar story with Lilia. She is very volatile and cannot really do her damage in every fight. Overall, though, with the tanks, they have some good team fighting, even though they have to watch out how they deal their damage. And overall, it's a way easier team comp than what they picked in the first matchup with the 3 winning lanes and little means for starting fights. Suning again in the game, punishing overly aggressive plays from G2. One thing and Sword Art though, dying a bit too often, giving G2 some leeway into the game, just being 2k down. G2 now they have more scaling, so it's not that much in Suning's favor. Unless though G2 will able to get like 1 million mountain drakes, because remember, especially against AD team comps, getting these mountain drakes is really effective, because obviously mountain drakes give a percentage in resistances, and as you have usually more armor than magic resistance, you get more armor through mountain drakes, making it easier to itemize more HP than resistances for the tanks. Yeah. So SOFM and Angel though in the game, they were really popping off. Jankos getting some kills, and also getting some camps through early pressure from his lanes, but SOFM quickly catching up and facilitating the leads in his team. Angel overall really great performance. In the course of the entire game, he gets some solo kills here and there, some nice dives into the backline. Great performance on the Akali. Completely breaking the game open for Suning with a Baron after G2 like just resets the map after a dragon take. Yeah, Suning looking fantastic, getting multiple kills, extending the gold lead to like 6k, getting 2 inhibs. But then, yeah, remember the first time these two teams played, similar story happens again. Suning again getting picked off again and again, failing to execute the lane states they need to pressure G2. Even after getting another Baron, they're not able to do much. On the contrary, they're falling further behind, giving G2 time to scale, getting them extra turrets after some lost fights, getting them, more importantly, drakes. Not mountain drakes, luckily, but infernal drakes. And yeah, stalling the game out to like 38 minutes. Both teams now have like 3 drakes, with an infernal soul coming up shortly. Yeah, Suning's problems are showing, right? They have little frontline, little engage, pick potential, yes, but pick potential is not really working if there are 5-man squads facing each other. So then, quite bad idea, I have to say. Suning trades Baron for Infernal Soul with G2. Don't ever do this trade. Soul is way better than Baron unless Baron enables you to finish the game. or it's Cloud Soul, right? But G2 being caught off guard with Suning rushing to the Drake after got the burn, and Bin with a very sneaky TP, able to set up a barrel combo and flash onto the backline of G2, completely slaughtering them, one-shotting them immediately. And yeah, G2, I remember I said they have to watch out for the damage, and that's exactly it. With caps and perks dying immediately, the rest has no damage to like counteract the play. And yeah, after a massive play from Bin, Suning is actually able to win in the end. But yeah, closing out games is something they really have to work on. G2 then now getting locked into second place with Suning in first, getting the potentially easier enemy. TL and Machi in third and fourth, finishing the positions for the Group A and ending the 5th day of Worlds. Yeah, that's it also for the video. I wish you all have a great day, and yeah, see you around tomorrow for the recap for day 6, where we see Group B play it out. Don't miss these games from now on.